Ninja Acholi, Jacqueline Kango Caught, Man Show Me Chaka Leb Acholi, Segment Me Kwan Leb Acholi. Man session number 31. I'm still reading about Obbo, the Abong subclan of Obbo. It's very lengthy. Okay. Please join the live. Send me DMs, send comments. If you have any questions, if you would like to be a guest on the show, please subscribe to our YouTube channel for the full recordings. We're on YouTube as Chaka Leb Acholi. We are also on Facebook. The official page is Chaka Leb Acholi. I am also on Facebook as Chaka Kam, South Sudan. I'm also on TikTok posting snippets as Chaka Kam South Sudan. Follow us on all of the platforms. Please share, engage with the content, learn with us. This is a learning platform. We're learning about Acholi culture, Acholi history, Acholi language. We'd love to have guests on the show to discuss what they know about Acholi people in South Sudan and South Sudan, and also in Uganda and other parts of the world. Acholi being one of the subgroups of the Luo ethnic group. If you're Luo and you have any type of ties or know your history and know where you guys come in South Sudan, we would love to hear from you. Be a guest. Send us a message. Let us know if you'd like to be a guest so we can discuss your history. It's a Luo group, it's a Luo person, Sudan, and how you guys migrated and settled in other parts of Africa you guys are in today. Okay, go back and watch all of the videos from the beginning where we discuss Acholi and Luo migration, and also segments on Kwan Leb Acholi, where I'm reading about our migration and settlements throughout Eastern Africa. We would love to have you on the show. Acholi people, please engage with the channel, engage with the platform. Let's talk about Acholi culture, Acholi history, and the Acholi language. Okay. If you've been following my show and the readings, last session 30, I was reading about Aburi, how he became the next chief after his father, Chief Abarayi, was shot and killed by his nephew Mandela. His nephew Mandela shot and killed him because Abarayi killed his own brother, who was the interim chief. He was not happy about him being made interim chief because he believed one day his brother may not turn over the chiefdom to him. So he killed his brother and took over the chiefdom even though he was too young to lead at the time. So his nephews looked for him, and eventually they caught up to him in Pajak, where he was hiding. And they set his homes on fire. When he came out running because his house was on fire, Mandela shot and killed him. At that time it was 1905. At that point, Aburi was made chief, even though he was also young. His older brother believed he was the rightful chief to take over after his father because he had kitty caught after drinking alcohol from the calabash. He found the kitty caught, I believe, with some piece of metal. I thought it was like raindrop. Because I don't know Acholi very well. Acholi people, please comment and let me know, is kitty caught a piece of metal that is part of or tongue, or is it a raindrop? Anyways, Baki, the oldest brother, Latinke, I believe his mom's name is Abe, if I'm not mistaken. His mom had kitty caught in the house because she was Dahoke. She lived in a house with Abarayi. So she kept it for her husband, and there are some claims that she gave it to Baki, even though Baki did not have it at the time of the traditional ceremony. And then Aburi believed he was chosen because he found it under the calabash when he was drinking his portion of the alcohol during the traditional ceremony. So all the brothers split up because eventually Aburi was appointed as chief, and that's who their father wanted to be chief. And they believe their father, Chief Abarayi, and Aburi was lying, and they cheated the whole process. Eventually Aburi was appointed chief, and that caused the family to fall apart. All of the sons of Abarayi left Obbo, left their community. Some of them went back to villages or homes where their mothers were from, whether that was within Obbo territory, or whether that was where, I'm sorry, I can't even speak now, Obbo territory, or some of their mothers are from other parts of the Acholi community. Some of their mothers are from Omeo, some of their mothers are from Pajak. Most of them ended up going back to where their mothers came from, basically, and starting their families there. So now, after everybody left Abong was only known as the subclan where Aburi and his followers resided. That whole leadership, that whole community belonged to those who were loyal to Aburi only. Okay? So I left it there. Okay? I want to start reading from where I left off. And from there, I'm going to read how the British, I think the British eventually came in. Okay, this was 1905, before the British came, when Aburi took over. At some point, the British does come in like 1914. Okay, at that point, the British wanted full control of the chiefdoms of Southern Sudan, and they wanted to have control of who they would select and keep in power as chiefs of these communities. Okay. Now that may influence the traditional selection of chiefs in these communities, including in Obbo, okay? Now when they came, Aburi was chief. Because they wanted to build rapport with the community, let them like them, come in through a softer approach. I believe they would allow the current chiefs to stay in place, to serve as a gateway into their communities, let them lead for a while. If they see something they don't like, then they would try to appoint somebody else who wants to have the trust of that community. Okay, so I believe Aburi was in power from 1905, and then the British came to Sudan in 1914, or at least to Southern Sudan in 1914. And they found that Aburi was in power as chief of Obbo. Okay, so I'm going to start reading from here. Let's see what happens when the British comes. I want to see what happens to his whole leadership, and then also how he was influenced when the British came. Okay, how that affected him, and whether or not that affected his lineage how his sons were able to take power while the British was still there in Southeast Africa at the time. Okay, we know for sure from the list that I read last time of chiefs that his sons eventually do take power, and we know that Aburi um, was in power from 1905 to around 1942, 1944, around that time. So he was in power for a while. Okay, so I'm going to start reading. Drop your comments if you have any. If you have any information about what I'm reading, if you're from Obbo, even if you're in a Chu who knows the history of the Obbo people, drop your comments here, please. Engage with us. We're all here to learn with us. And if you know something, please share it. Drop a comment under this video, or you can send me a private message if you like. Okay, thank you so much. I'll my tech. So Acholi abere ka wajine gila mono achaga dong kwano lopa buri kin mayanga bora kere ni nare mono mo karma pori ba kwan kirma buri okero dong ike pa wone Abarayi mono chila Abarayi yala gikenyu dong omi ko perkin wonye komeni buru no mira po beri ngamalo ke no kiri kot mono kwanyo wobe weng pa Abarayi ni gin magiti kiri kot ngamani ana mira loke ana no kiri kot especially baki madite bakit Abdallah ni en minongo ke okay nyinga bakit Abdallah, as you know ke na session money bakit Abdallah pien Abarayi bi mo ma oteri sigin pien bo collect taxes omaka sigin by jaharia gikuja converted Islam gikuja ne bacha ponye labarap kwanya nying Ibrahim lungni Abarayi gingi ko la doni omio nying musla pa wang bot lutin pa mukib nying muki kwar nying tin permadit latin ke pada perame chia dako ke nye bakit dala en mukib Muslim name and keep Islamic name bakit lungni baki lakini bakit Abdallah. Okay, and tamni anything kiri kot and mamiri loke and mina bira okay mi achel yala mina jarma tika gwa ho ki kot at pa Abarayi pendi beri ora chel and tia dako ke kiri kot pa lo loke nti at chani so en bi kwanyo mia bod baki so karmo lo tia timo ngani check tugi mono chika tuli wala chika mi Obbo mi kwanyo ke mi maro kongi awal lo kero kiri kore te awale lo ngego ka da no baki o maro kongani no kiri kore te ete perani awal wel mura aburi ni ani maro kongi no kiri kore te awal o mio obido ko mio bor gone ana no baki bene ge kujini eno no tiki kiri kot so en mamire awowe mone mene kono nga gene Jeremiah ge lokoya ge wala jokoya awowe ni weng nga mane gene gite kiri kot mira gene magilo ke agite wonya Abarayi bonon kiri kot eno bedo ka yenyo negi kuni doki wal kono gi kan naka kwanya ne kwala kono kwanya gi kan kana hoy jaba kana chinge bonon kini te awal e karmo ti atim chek mun min kenene mina ngalo ke ato wonene lakin Abarayi miro lakin pereken mo beri ngamalo ke jona Aburi en mira Aburi le arubanga day in a day ni rubanga inki a day mara an wekalatin para buri mo la wekalatin para buri mo non kiri kon so each time getimo mi achel Aburi ni en mi no dogo gi gino mi chin mone lo tini mone gi complain ki min gi wen okay Abarayi do timo check again gi bino do to ge maro kongo ga wal munu dogo to Aburi dogo ni ma baba an man no kiri ko dogo to ene o mi chin mone kar ko itim mi adek Aburi dogo ni baba ana nongi dana tamane ya Abarayi pien en mira Aburi keken tia bombo dana ni latina da tia dogo tia mi kiri kot nongo gitie ge winya mogin ga Aburi kar kiri kot pe chinga bino mio chinga non bod won no gi mo pe You know before jar ceremony, no Abarayi go no ma tia kero gini chinga Aburi beforehand. Ka wan ini mari ka kikor ima boy no en kwan ini mami we wan in mi tie kere. So gita mani gimo tie no winya moti between Aburi kin gi Abarayi pien Abarayi mira latin per Aburi ken mo lo ke mira nga mo keneko. Na mean Aburi law down away. So mar bina Aburi law lotini moni pien mar mina Aburi ni lenkeke mar da so anyways give be kera Aburi now chira chuli miro ni ngani o wir nga lo ke okay gigina ge mo tradition e miro lo diro mi ke munu magi wira chief munu manino wir ki modo ceremony mi inducted mi gina kira any ikom malo tia kira Aburi ni lo danga munu dogo mi kene gi kwaro wira Aburi ni pien ki nge ka di la Aburi pero no ngamun wala ke lo mi gina kene so Lotina bong mo magitia fall Aburi they believe Aburi ni kun jomo ma take close ge Abarayi ada magi ye lo Abarayi ni latin mun ma bilo kene gi wira Aburi okay rekam okay muno kela log between gin wang o me oni wangi chiraha idano mo daha hogi the community pa bong or including o me pera wang remember one gitiege nga mon abong wen lotini madung lotini abu berbere lotini aboro including Aburi so abira ni wengi kwanya family members to gi ge kenyi gi chira including family pa omero pere gini mogone family pa gana omero pa Abarayi remember lotini pa lochi tie o nego lochi family pa lochi ben gini wengi daha family pa they believed that Aburi was not supposed to be in place. So they didn't support Aburi, piangi kwera Abarayi. Dano wangi aangi abong. Jomo dong abong again, jomo ngi take a close relationship with Aburi, mina Aburi, nyo Abarayi keken. And followers Eroni Ginigi youth, mun mama Aburi, because Aburi was very young. Gin magi dong kinyi do jo abong adildo. Jomo ngi aagi kinyi dog di actually kamoko mamingi aagi ye kono mea kono di pajo kono kanye wengi dog di aagi dog chin kuja e chaka bel gangi to kuja do jo chan dong jo abong kai wani abong chini mu jo pa Aburi modo so lineage ma bin after Aburi eni mi achele weng followers pa Abarayi ge Aburi okay and agi kenyu kin magi cat kere so Kwan dong di kenyu kin ma bora kere yala before I done your life baby and I con pien Aburi o ma okay from Mohamia a part of when we beach we me a part of when we pier when we real kumun well part of when ge pier when kumun one year beforehand manin such a moment with a Kwan ngo British kon get take a bino in Southern Sudan. Give me to penetrate Southern Sudan. Kon give bino can you ka influence ke midi Acholi kidma gegene kidma chief Rodi Geni Lokero Ike British want to have control of that. Manu cha man ma buri tie kere come wangio inge some maybe morapa gi wege mono British kon get a bino man wa kwana no one nen mono Aburi leadership era better than before British bino yell my British bino get influence and ninge amira ne one nen gini kachel we carry comment to the video any you take a comment more you give me a bit of guess we carry the video any okay and a poem attack man show me nga Chaka Leb Acholi segment me Kwan Leb Acholi and watch out Kwan okay so la choje choni ngoni pepi man keken chwe twin palotino pa road Abarayi ata obero kwere o waho watin bene gin pe limo gin pe limo kumgi. So lutin pa barai wini kera gilimo kumgi ko bikwera do. Chalong gin wat ko wala gana family chel ko, okay? Dog bene tien ma pol gin pe wuro ite wait, I'm sorry, gin pe wuro ito ma odok idog ot pa omiro. Kanga mo to bene gichira ko. Kidma wabero kaneno kany wanongo ni Jeremiah lo down, okay? Keken malimo ruot Aburi gi Ogeno. So only 2 brothers out of all 7 brothers ma Aburi take it. Okay? Jeremiah lo down gi Ogeno. Gin magi biro kay gichero doctrine ede abong kaneno omingi. Kan mo tike. Okay? Kari bet lotino cho per road Abarayi. Pegin maro kumgi wanongo ni lotino anyira pori maro omero megi. La porne obero adwa. Ikare ma dwa obino gi Uganda kaneno mine I Obbo en beno chiro kalimo road Aburi. Enino man onongo Ogeno tie itorit ikare ma eno winyo ni adwa obino tie Obbo owacho chut ni miro ote en riri bore. Okay? So the girls had no issues. Okay? So they loved all of their brothers and some of them still visited Aburi. Okay? Kachi kono obero dano ma kire muol. Dok en bene pe obero gi dako matir I ot. Okay? Achi obero ka wuot I ching lotino pa omegi mere. Wia bene poni aneno achi igampa wora Kasiano otim onyala. I likare ikare ma onongo atie pori gi mwaka abich mio abichiel. Inge man gang mo ma gilungo gang abong odoro pere kono gang pa ruot Aburi keken madano lungo ni gang abong. Okay? Kima wajo kere ni pinyo ke abong odok dojo pa Aburi. Okay? Latina abong achiel owajo kwere ni piman ruot Aburi pe owiro kit ma chon gi chon ma dano kero kwere ruot abong ike. Right? Bo wir and gimo. Owiro maybe by Jumati Koski, Aburi gi one again. But tradition my elders, me came I wir and botim bot Aburi. Okay. Dran mo kene wajani Abarayi mara Aburi kari bet en tiri gi bot baki pien en onongo dong tie gi dago. Pien en onongo dong tie gi dago. Baki onongo o tiro dongo chi pire gi dago. Okay. Log mi te kwara pa chuli wajo ni lacho ma maho ke mi ruot kot miro bet gi dago pien welo ma digi bino igang gin duchu chamo ichinge. Okay. Another reason why we want Omiro Aburi to be in power is because Aburi was already married, even though his older brother who was supposed to take the chiefdom, his older brother Baki was not married. And traditionally, they can't pass down the chiefdom to a son that is not married. Latino boy karimagin unyani alar mikom paruot tie madit ikin Latino paruot Abarayi luak chwingi pe obero yo ikom lokman. Dano mi obodong o wachani baki pe tuero maho luak mi obo pien en dano ma lanek pien kare mao karo angej eno okelo mono gi numle ni ochiel luak. What? Dano mi Obbo bene okwer matek ni Felice lokoya bene petwer mako luak mi Obbo. Ento gin ma pe owacho lok ang'o ma gengo en ka mako luak mi Obbo. Dano dong owacho ni kit ma Aburi okwero lok pa omine baki mikelo monu kachielo dano i Obbo. Man bene nyuro ni en obedo dano makire be pien tamo pi kwo pa luak. Pi lok man Aburi aye miero bedi ruoth Obbo. Kit malotina Obbo ducho ye ni Aburi omake pi man en dong omako ke pa wuone. Lodiro abong owacho ni tie lok adek ma oweko jo Obbo okero kwere Aburi ike mi ruoth. Mi achiel pien en okwero tam marach pa baki obedo kwere mi chulo kuo pa wuongi. Mi ariyo en obedo gi tam maber mi ribo lotino abong. Aburo nongo pe mira winyo lok mani abong kore nyo abong pa ruoth. Eno nongo mira ni lotino pa Kassiba obedo achiel. Lok pa Aburi okwanyo tam marach. No, I'm sorry. Okwanyo tam marach wako gi chwiny lotino pa Luchi. Okay. Ki mi adek en obedo ka nyomo mon bod lotino abong magin pere gilim mi nyom. Okay, a true leader. Ento la chin ruoth Aburi onyuru kwiri mere bo luak ma eno mako luak mabe atika chigina chiel ma wanongo onongo tie marach bod ruoth Aburi ni eno bedo dano ma lagero total. Okay. Kari bed ruoth Aburi obedo dano ma ger en pe ogoyo nyo onego dano. Ruoth Abarayi obedo dano ma pe maro kongo. Dok pe lagero chalo wuode Aburi. So a lot of people support Aburi because he was a good person, he's a good leader. The only issues he had was what? Drinking too much alcohol. Most people from Abong love to drink alcohol. Before, okay? They like to drink alcohol, but Aburi was very aggressive. Those are the only two negative things they found about Aburi. Other than that, he was a good person, he's a good leader. He condemned anybody doing anything wrong in the community, including his own brothers. His older brother Bucky did bring some white person to shoot and kill off the Obbo people when things wasn't going their father's way. And Abud is not like that. He's the opposite. He doesn't want any hatred between all Obbo people or the Abong people. For that, people loved him. He was like his father. Apart from him being a little bit aggressive and he likes to drink alcohol, he was a good person, okay? And on top of that, he was the one paying for the bride price or the dowry for most Abong young men who wanted to get married and did not have any money or did not have any assets to use to pay the dowry or the bride price. So Aburi was the one paying for all of that. So everyone can find a wife or take a wife. Okay, so that's why he was loved and respected by many young men in Abong. Okay. Okay, Jeremiah Ladang, omere gi adot mere ikom ruoth Aburi. Tie nina ma achiel Jeremiah ochoyo warga matek bod mono kari bet pe okwano warga man ento lodir abong wacho borani Jeremiah ochoyo warga kid man. Okay, so his brother Jeremiah snitched on him to the white or British, basically. So his brother wrote this to the British like this in English. Well, English mixed with Acholi because he wasn't educated. Okay. Dear Sir Ladit, Achoy Bori Wargaman, Pilogma Piretek Atiga. Agini, Kaino Wargaman, Ibimio ye tamatut. Atamani Roraburi, Petwer Maho, Luak, Mia Bo, Pilogario, Mia Chiel, Roraburi Pengio Church and Dong, Bitio Gi Wun Nining. Okay. Mia Rio, Roraburi, Dano Ma, La Mera Ata. And Tuero Magoluak Nining. Adong Amiro Niango, Inia. Kima biro dano ma okwano gay dog odd. Parod Abarayi, okay, so he's saying he's the most educated. Amiro ne gitwer mi office, Mary, iniro iked an wrote Obbo. Okay. Ikarama apenyo Justice John Onge. Kalok man otima da nyo goba. Ena wach borane, man do you log goba? Andong pe ang'eyo ka lok ma Justice John ong'e owacho ni tie kakare nyo en tie ka chwako ng'one pien man nen bore chal balo nying. So Justice John Onge is the son of Jeremiah Ladang. Okay. So when they asked him, did your dad really write this letter to the British to take the chiefdom from your uncle, Aburi? Chief Justice John Onge Okwara Hani no one about him Gamono. But people are saying he did. He was trying to take the chiefdom from his own brother by saying he's the most educated and he speaks English and that he's smarter than Aburi. Therefore, the British should remove Aburi and put him as the chief of Obbo. Okay? La Quena Chiel Oter warga man bod mono. Ikarama mono kwano wargam eno kwera tampa Jeremiah Ladang. Okay? Pien mono ngioni road Abarayi o chilma tek ni. Ka eno ta mir wood Aburi a ye o maklwa. En man a ye look ma o weka mono o kwera kwede tampa Jeremiah. Ka onongo pe o bed kid man do kono mono okero Jeremiah ikepa road. Okay, so they're saying the British refuse his claims, and that now you have to remember Abarayi, Chief Abarayi was close with the white man and close with the British. Remember, Sir Samuel Baker, he was very hospitable to the British or those on their missions to Southern Sudan or Choluland or to Obbo. So they know Chief Abarayi very well. And Chief Abarayi did tell them before he died that if something ever happens to me, I'm going to appoint my son Aburi as chief, and I want you all to support my son Aburi. So now it was futile for Jeremiah Ladong to send this letter to the British, to the white man, because they were in support of Aburi and Abarayi, or Abarayi's wish to keep Aburi as a chief. Okay, so they didn't honor any of his wishes in this letter. Okay, Aburi obero Latin maquiri chalo wone. Piman owera luak mi obo owachni eno make lok mi kera Aburi ike okela poka poka mapole kindano. Joma tie gi miri ikomura Aburi ka gin onongo kirikot gin tero bore ento joma tie gi miri ikombaki ka gin onongo kirikot gin tero bore. What is this kitty cut they're all collecting? Is it kitty for real that they're collecting? Actually, people or above people, can you please leave your comments? What is kitty cut exactly? Is it kitty for real? Is it a piece of rock? Why is it called kitty cut? Please drop your comments. Apo. Ruoth Aburi obino ike imwaga. Remember, he was already chief of Abong, but now they're saying he's officially appointed by the British in 1914. Okay, Kanya Choninga. Ruoth Aburi obino ike imwaga aparbungwen ya parngwan. Okay. Mamunu nyogamente pa British tie kapo lobo Acholi. This is the time they're splitting up borders, Acholi territories with borders, and they started reassigning chiefs to these territories. So they kept Aburi, reassigned, and still kept him as chief in 1914 when the British came. Okay. Um, Tekwara pa chuli wajani road Ocheng pa Anyura mi pa Jok mano tie road county nyo la wi rodi mi a chel eno chako teach ikin mwaka a par bongwen ki a par rio. Okay. All right. So, Dwan Mukene Bene, what your name? E kare ma to chamo Abarayi kirikot odong e ching daho mere madit. Ma en bene obedo min baki chila chen eno nyuru kirikot man bod wore. E mwaha apar bo mwen gi pier mwen we rigyo. Ma jo botie ka dak ki itegot pakwa michiro iludo. E kare man ono kirikot mo kene dong otiro green. Wahagi bod min baki chi gima gum mabe en onongo pori odong gi kirikot mo kene. So dahoke is min baki. She was losing all the kirikot. Now this is what they need to select chiefs. It's important that she keeps it, but they're saying that she's been losing it because people are moving around. The Obbo people or the Among people were moving from God Pakwa or the Pakwa Mountains. They moving to Loudo, or they split up from Abong. So when she was moving around, she was losing these things, these kitty cats. Okay. Ningani kanye. Okay, ne no mo tie por dum, okay? E karma dano tie kadak ilowuro en bene odak gi kiri kod man. Odong mo achel, I think odak ilowuro. Okay? Ikin mo ngani apar bong wen gi piera ngwen we dek we apar bong wen gi piera ngwen we ngwen bakio agi ilowuro odok ite god pakwa ka oyenyo kiri kod ma orwenyo gi bod mine. En obedo ite god pakwa chok dwe achiel kolo chi gi gum marach baki oyenyo kiri kod ma gi kwe penongo. So Baki went back to Pakwa, god Pakwa. He couldn't find kiri kod more. The other ones they lost, he couldn't find them. Okay. Imwaga parbongwen gipiaria ngwen DC or district commissioners, okay? Me opari omaro chikmatek ni rora chiel mi acholi miero ochwala tin mere achiel igang Kwan pien kadigi gin omaro ke we gin obedano mariet dok ma ngeo church gi Kwan, okay? Ruoth aching anyura Ochieng pa nyura mi pa jok ochwalo latin mere igang Kwan pa jo katolika ento ruri mokene ni duchu ochwalo lotino megi igang Kwan mi church missionary societies or CMS matie I opari La Conegua. La Conegua? I don't know. Leave your comments. Kidman. So the district commissioner wanted all the chiefdoms to send their sons who are in a direct line to be chiefs, right? To go to school so they can educate themselves. I'm assuming to be indoctrinated, speak English, write in English, so you can communicate with the British mostly, right? So that when the British decide to select chiefs, that you have an upper hand because you can speak English and you can read and write. Okay, that's what they're looking for. So the announcement was made by the district commissioner of Aburi in 1924 for all of the sons to be sent to school of all of your Julie clans, all right, to go to school. Okay. Um, and then they said here that what? So people send their kids to different schools of Pajok sent his son to a Catholic school, while other people sent their kids to church missionary societies. I believe that was a school ran by the missionary in Southern Sudan at the time. Mm, okay, and then okay, so then they listed what happens here with this request to send kids to school. Ningo, rot loteme mi palwa ochwalo okeo mere maglungo Daudi. Ento inge pa rot loteme ke dong bod wore maglungo Paulo Otoo. So what was the point of sending your nephew to school, but then when you died, your son is the one that became chief? And then wrote Aburi, Ochwala, Omine, Jeremiah Ladung, Piano Tino, Pa Aburi, Porio Nongotino. Okay? So Jeremiah Ladung is saying he's the most educated, he should take over for his brother Aburi. But Aburi is the one that sent him to school in the first place. Okay? They're saying Aburi sent his brother Jeremiah Ladung to school because his kids were too young for him to send to school. Okay? Now, next is Rot Me Magui. Ma pe wangiu nyinge ochwalo enoka. Okay. Rot lakwat mi ofrika ochwalo wore mi lofere. Okay. Rot moro o wakoda omin agwaya mi pakala bule bul ochwalo wore Erica. Okay. Rot pandike. Okay. Mape wangeo nyinge ochwalo wode lachiro to school. Okay. All these people were sent to school at the Church Missionary Society School because the British want all chiefs in their family, especially sons, to be educated, to be able to speak English, read and write, so they can communicate with them. Again, remember they're being used as gatekeepers or to those they can use to access their community, especially those who do not know English or did not go to school. They need these people to be their translate interpreters and those who can enforce any of their policies. Okay, not including requesting them to pay taxes or contributions. Okay, so the chiefs were tasked with what? First, learning English, reading and writing, but then also making sure they can control their communities according to what the British wanted. Okay, Tekwa Pachuli Wajani. Oh, this is very long now. Um, I'm gonna read just this paragraph and list the names of Aburi's wives, and I'm gonna end here for today. Okay, it's already 45 minutes. Okay, take what I watching it. Ima one get Pierre when mono penyo aburi ni katwere en miro ochwala tina chiel ikin tina parwod abarai o chere gang kwan pien ka eno kwan maber diki ena ye magalwak lokman woro ikin lotina pa abarai ento gin ma onyang gin pe onyang maber uh, pa kwan Piman ngat mo ma omiro chiro ikwan pere ruora buri kid ma oneno ni lotina bong pe miro kwan en dong ochwalo latin pa lamin mine. Huh, Jeremiah ladong. Jeremiah bero omin baki matidi. So it's omin mine. Remember, okay, so now they're saying that the British wanted Aburi to send somebody from his dad's family, especially the sons of Abarayi, to school. Since his kids were young, it says that most of the Abong did not want to go to school. But he decided to send Jeremiah Ladong. And Jeremiah Ladong is his brother, though they say Jeremiah Ladong is also what? His cousin, the son of his mom's sister. Why? That's confusing, right? Why is Jeremiah Ladong his brother, but also his cousin? Or why is he the son of his aunt? If you can recall, they're saying that Jeremiah is Bucky's youngest brother. They have a different mom, Dao. Remember Abarayi Kwanya Dao? He took a wife named Abed, I think her name was. Um, and then he went back to take Abed's cousin or younger sister as a babysitter. And then he fell in love with the babysitter and married her as his second wife or third wife. And they had Aburi. Okay. So not only are they brothers, they are also cousins. Okay. So, anyways, he chose Jeremiah Ladang, who is Bucky's younger brother from the same mother, basically, but they're all brothers. Okay. So it's a bit confusing if you didn't follow along from the previous sessions. Okay. Latina, abang mokene, Child Justice John Onge, Tamani, Tie Jomi Ario, Mawe Rora Buri, Peo Chwala Lotina Mere, Egang Kwan. Okay, Mia Chiel, Pien, Mohaman, Lotina pa road onongopuri, Peo Dongo, Maramo Kwan. Kalok Mia Ria, Rora Buri Bene, Chalo, Rodi, Acholi Mukene, Onopere Gin, Ikom Gang, Gin Ikom Gang, Kwan, Nyo, Chukul. Lodang o mga Kwan, Matek, eno bero Latina chiel Maria I od Kwan, o class o kilach. En otiro Kwan mere, I Juba High School, I mwa apar bong wan gi piera dek. Okay? Lotina bomo bero kawaje borani, lodang, ka obino pajo, we nangajui, pe will I kumrura buri, pitama be ma eno bero kwere I kome. Piman lodang ka obino I Obbo, en omaro limo rura buri. E kar ma Jeremiah lodang odong, otiro kwan, mere mono kero en dok la pony. Okay? Ikin lotino ma ochwalo gin igang kwan e lakanega, or I think this is opari. Okay? Wanongo ni lo fere wood pa road lo kwat mi Africa ke ken mala chien o mako ke pa wone. So out of all these kids they sent to school, they were smart or whatever. None of them actually took over any chiefdoms except for one, which was the kid from Africa. The other ones didn't take care. Not even Jeremiah Ladong. Jeremiah Ladong became a teacher. He was tasked with teaching other people and their children in Obbo or in a community. He never became chief, even though he wrote this private letter to the British. Hey, it's time for me to finished school. I'm very smart. I'm smarter than Aburi, even though he's the one that sent me to school. Put me as chief. He was never selected to be chief. So all these kids, they got educated. I mean, as far as learning English and learning how to read and write in English, that's the education, right? The measure of the intelligence. Or, anyways, so none of them became chief except for this kid from Africa that became chief eventually. Okay. So before I end this recording, I want to say that um, okay, I wanted to read off the names of his wives before I end. And then tomorrow we find that if I read tomorrow, we find that wrote Aburi will give he will hand over his chiefdom to one of his sons, Onyala. Okay. Or he gives it to his brother, Onyala. I will read that tomorrow. But right now, I'm very interested to see. He also took 9 wives like his father, Abarayi. I'm very interested in seeing who these wives are and where they came from before I end this live for this session. Okay. Apo. Rodaburi onyomamon madum kinman. Okay. Laona Nora Latin anyera mi pajok ento onero imun pa obo gi pajok ma onongo en pori pe onyo onero imun pa obo gi pajok. So his first wife Nora from Pajok was killed during the Pajok and Obbo War, the battle between the two clans. So his first wife was killed. His second wife, Lakulo Aliaka Ma Min Vito Gi Owang and Bene Latin Anyaka Mi Yuaya Pajok. So another wife from Pajok, okay, and Onyalonga Vito Gi Owang Latini Pa Aburi. The third wife is Min Turbusio or Turbusion Dama Dipa Road. This is Daroke, a chief's wife, a former wife. Mape Wangeo Nyinge. Okay, so this third wife, we don't have the name somehow. And she's the mother to Aburi's son Tubursion. Tubursion. My mother and them, their father's name is Turbusio. Okay, anyways. Pa Wangyo Nyinge, eno bedo Latin anyara mi Lokide Obbo. Okay, so he married one from Obbo. The fourth wife is Atono Min Matia Lolori. Okay, his fourth wife Atono. Eno bedo Latin anyara mi Lowudo Obbo. Okay, his fourth wife is from Lowudo Obbo, and they had a son named Matia Lolori. Okay. The fifth wife is Min Marco Logic Massimino Odum Gi Ogira Pewangeo Nyinge Enobero Latina Nyara Mi Obbo. So another one from Obbo. This is one chief who's marrying many wives from their own clan, Obbo, okay? But we don't have the names of these wives for some reason. Okay, they had 3 kids. Marco Logic, Masmino, Odum, and Ogira. Okay. Now the 6th wife is Min Oracha Onde. Oracha Onde. Pewangyo Nying Darane. We don't know this wife's name either. Eno Bero Latina Nyara pa Kitara Obbo. Another wife from Obbo, from Kitara. I think Aburi really loved the Obbo community. He loved his people. He married a lot from Obbo. You can tell he was a people's person. That's why they loved him. Number 7 Oringo mean Louise, Otoo, give Fred, Owori, and a bit of Latina Nyakami, Pokongo, Obbo, another one from Obbo, Nyinga Aringo. Aringo. She had two sons. Louise Otoo gave Fred Owoti. Okay. The eighth wife is Ojuin. Ojuin mean Ochilo. And a bit of Latina Nyakami Koyo Obbo, another lady from Obbo. Okay. Um, she only had one son, Ochilo, or Aburi, and she's from Koyo Obbo. The ninth wife is Min Ogeno. Okay. Remember, he also has a brother named Ogeno. He also has his own son named Ogeno. So Min Ogeno, Roraburi, Olaha, Alaha, Gibot Omine. Kagin Onyala Quere, Wore, Saverio, Oluch. So this ninth wife belonged to his own brother. Hmm? So Geno is his brother's son. If you know this history, please would drop comments too. So Mino Geno or Kwanyo gi both brother pa Aburi or Aburi kwanji boro mine. No Gino Geno. And then with this wife, they had one son named Saverio Oluch. Okay, we'll drop your comments. What do you guys think? So I'm gonna leave it here. Dano Mara and on Yomo Dano Ma Paul gi Obbo. Nyomo Mon Abichel gi Obbo. Aria gi Pajok. Okay? Okay? We'll drop your comments. Thank you very much. I know this is a very, very long video. I hope that you guys will stay tuned. I will read more often tomorrow night. And I hope you guys will join me as guests or even just to watch as an audience. I appreciate you guys all. Follow us on Facebook as Chaka, Leb Acholi, and we are also on YouTube as Chaka, Leb Acholi. My personal Facebook is Chaka Kang, South Sudan. I'm also on TikTok as Chaka Kang, South Sudan. Okay, appreciate you all for my time. So we found that Chief Aburi stayed in power from 1905, from the time his father was killed by his own cousin, Aburi's cousin, but Abarayi's nephew, up until 1942. The British king, we still kept him in power, despite everybody else trying to take power, including his own brother that he sent to school, Jeremiah Ladon. The Abong people loved him. He ended up taking 9 wives, 2 from Pajok, which is a clan in the Acholi tribe. And then the other 6 wives are from Obbo, where he's from. He also ended up taking one of his brother's wives at the end, who was the mother to Ogeno. And he had one son with her. We don't know all the names of the wives. Please drop your comments if you know anything about these wives of Aburi. Okay. The British established schools to send the family of chiefs, including their sons, are in line to become chiefs eventually one day. And out of all of them, none of them became chief except for one from Africa. Jeremiah Ladon became a teacher, but not a chief. Okay. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us. Please follow, like, share, comment, subscribe. Thank you very much. Bye.